We're recording. What's up, Logan?
How's it going, John?
Fantastic. Great day here at HQ, and I wanted to thank you for being on our call/interview today. I know you've had a pretty busy week. We were able to hang out in AC here for a few days, and we got a chance to hang out yesterday. I wanted to begin off our call by Logan and I had a very friendly yet super competitive game of miniature golf. New Jersey, and we were talking about having a bet, and then I was like, no, let's not make a bet. And the bet was whoever won, we had on the interview to say who won. So Logan on the 18th hole won miniature golf by a stroke. So
it was a clutch putt.
It was your putt was amazing, I'm not gonna lie, but not bitter about it. Dude, thanks for being on the call. Seriously. Logan Franke, Fort Wayne District Manager, Hoosier Division. Logan, a little bit about you, man. When did you get started?
I got started in May 15th of 2011. I was a senior of high school. I was a senior in high school. It was my last couple weeks of high school, and I had final exams, and my friend worked here and thought that he was weird that I could do it if he could do it. And I could say that because we were friends, but yeah.
Cool. Started in what office again?
I started in Fort Wayne under Rodrigo Mariano.
I remember Rod very well. Good. So started in Fort Wayne and now running Fort Wayne. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hoosier Division, that's in the Midwest region. Recently promoted to DVC. So congrats to that. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Career sales overall?
4.6 million.
And then Logan, for you, and obviously there's some things that you've done in your career that have been fantastic. I'm going to talk about a couple of your accolades here in a second, but what are just some highlights in your life, whether it be personal and or professional?
In third grade, I won a fundraising competition for selling the most wrapping paper out of everyone in the third grade.
You start off the gates, big shoes to fill there. That's good.
Yeah, but last, that's the highlight. But yeah, no, seriously though, last year bought a house.
Nice.
Bought my first house. I was excited. Lived in an apartment for my first 3 years out of college, and then saved up enough money to put a down payment on a house. Professionally, some accomplishments. Been in Fort Wayne for a while, but we broke the all-time Fort Wayne sales record in 2017. Was previously held by a DVM that hadn't been broken since 2002. So we were really excited to break that in 2017. We broke it again in 2018, and then we broke it again this year in 2019. And it now stands at it'll stand at like 510,000 over the summertime. And, that's mostly new. But next year we're looking to break it again. So not just break it, we're looking to crush it. But so I would say that's exciting. The first year here we didn't break it, and that was our goal. But then to break it 3 years in a row is exciting to continue growing.
That shows a true testament to your evolution of the business and where you are. Where you were. 2002, 2017, 15 years it went without being broken, and then you broke it. But then you broke it and then broke it again. So that's really great to show. Just not, hey, we had a great year, but we're doing this over and over again. And that's one of the reasons why we have Logan on the call is because obviously our first call is with Larry Manley, 31 years in the business, $100 million in sales. We're not trying to just highlight people that have been around for that amount of time, although that was fantastic. Logan's being around for 4 or 5 years as a DM, 8 years overall, and he's just continuously building momentum, and that's why you're on the call today. Some summer stats for you based on all of Vector. From what I've picked up, you are the #1 DM in new business. In Vector East, we have what's called PRS, which is a Presidential Recruiting Summit. You were #1 in sales of over 410, obviously in the country. The cool thing though is that out of everyone, including DVMs, you're top 5. Am I getting those stats correct?
Top 5 in new business for the year, yeah.
The new business for the year, but out of all offices, so in the Cutco world.
Yep.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. We're excited.
This week, as of last week, excuse me, there was a presidential banquet, which is obviously the big contest we're going to talk a little bit about. Top 3 as well too. So number 3 in the standings. And it looks like you look surprised. You look like you didn't even know that yourself. Like, oh, really? So
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey man, for our listeners, I want to jump into a little bit about you, about your philosophy, about your mindset, because it almost looks like in the first couple of years you were floating through and you're doing well, right? You're saving some money and living a great lifestyle. In the last 3 years, though, buying a home, then increasing your business, being number 1 in the entire country of DMs, and then top in our top 3 in our presidential banquet. Like, this is exciting stuff. So the first question I have for you is pretty simple, but I want you to go, into a little bit more depth about your philosophy, your mindset going into the fall, coming off a pretty high-powered summertime, going into the fall. So, like, some direction for our management staff, whether they're a brand new manager or they've been around for years to come. What's the mindset? What's some of your philosophies going into the fall?
Yeah, and you'll hear this probably another 2 or 3 times from your division manager this month. You'll hear this at every conference, and I think Cutco boils down to nailing the transitions. There are 3 transitions per year: transitioning from summer to fall, transitioning from fall to J-Pro, and then transitioning from spring and into summertime. And if you nail those transitions, you're going to have a great career here. You're going to have a great year. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to impact a lot of people. And so I think one of the toughest transitions to make is the summer to the fall campaign, because you're coming off of 30, 40 people team meetings. You're coming off of big paychecks. You're coming off of SC2, Celebration of Champions, and to kind of transition that into a more low-key, methodical time of the business. It's a different season. It's not a better season or a worse season. It's just different season. Making that transition is mentally the toughest part. But in all actuality, running the business in the fall is not that complicated. It comes down to, getting back to the basics and having a work hard, play hard mentality. You got October with Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got football, you got the Olean Conference. You got a lot of cool things to look forward to in the fall time. And it is a season of work hard, play hard. But you got to nail the transition with PRs and with getting back to the basics and having a schedule made. Andrew Evans, one of the top guys in the company right now as well, taught me last year. He said, I have my schedule planned out for the next calendar year. We were having a conversation. It was like March. And he's like, yeah, I'm planning my fall right now. And that's when it kind of sparked in my mind. I was like, I haven't even thought about the fall. I haven't even barely planned out the summer. The fall's not even on my radar. And that just proves he's number 1 in the president's banquet standings.
Yeah.
From what I saw there.
Yeah, Dom is at 91,000 last week. So this week he'll hit P-Banquet, and before summer's even over, he'll hit President's Banquet, yeah.
And that's what one of my division manager, Brett, taught me when I was growing up is the more you want to get paid and the more successful you want to be, the longer you have to have your schedule mapped out. So, my schedule's mapped out throughout the whole fall right now and then through J-Pro. Here within the next couple weeks, I'm looking to map it out for the rest of January program in the spring, and then we'll probably map out the summer here within the next couple months. And it's just sticking to the basics. Interviews, training, PRs, not trying to do it all yourself, teaching your TLA, using this as a time to teach TLA members how to run the business. So if they want to be an assistant, they want to be a branch, they don't go out and run their first interview on their own.
Wow, man, there's so many good points in there, and I want to just hit on a few of those. I love when you said, what do you focus on? And in hearing your answers, it's not just personal, and it's not just professional. It's a really healthy dose between. It's like Halloween. I look forward to Halloween. Yeah. And that may not be for everyone, but what is that thing you're looking forward to? And more than just one thing. Like Halloween is October 31st. It's like I'm looking forward to something that's 2 months from here, but football. And are you a big Colts guy?
Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Not too excited about Fiacco this year, but
Yeah.
We'll
What
see.
can you do?
We'll see.
I love that though. It's a healthy combination between both personal and professional. So when I was a younger manager, I heard a lot about just hit the basics, and it's almost like I got used to hearing that, and I thought that I knew it, but all I did is I heard it a lot. So you said a few things about basics that if you're teaching your group of people, your leadership academy, or some of our newer management staff that hasn't been able to go through a few falls, right? What would be some of the key basics to make sure that you have in your schedule that you're focusing on weekly?
Yeah, it's not about changing things. It's just about doing the same things on a different scale. So when I was a brand new manager during the fall, we wouldn't have a big PR day. And I'm like, why don't we have PR scheduled? Why don't we have people scheduled for training? And it's like, because you don't have a PR day, and it's not taking that away. It's just during the summer, we have all day Sunday, 8 hours. We're hammering out PR schedule in 70, 80, 90, 100 in a day on a Sunday during the summer. In the fall, you still have your PR day. In your PR day, you might schedule 25 or 30. And during the summer, we have a goal written on the board. We have a break every hour. We have a lunch break. We're having fun. It's a positive vibe. Having all of those same things in the fall, a goal on the board, breaks, fun, but it's just on a smaller scale. And having your goal be 30 instead of 130, and realizing that that if you hit those small weekly goals and hit the basics and don't take out the things that you do during the summer, it's just that's how you're going to hit President's Banquet and hit the have a good fall.
Yeah. Great point. So you're not switching your approach to the fall as far as the basics, maybe just your quantity and what you're shooting for. So nothing changes on the basics level. It's a matter of the quantity that you're going for. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. And it's cool to do it that way because there's not bullets flying. You can be a lot more methodical. Your PR show to interview should be higher. Your show to training should be higher. You should be more efficient because you can spend more time with people, and you can really take that time to teach people because you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off like maybe sometimes you are on June 12th.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, personal preference. Again, this doesn't have to be the way that everyone does it, but for you personally, when do you plan? When do you take the time to sit down, to reflect, to plan your future, whether it's just like for that week, right? So this is Thursday of this week. We've got next week and the month ahead of us. When are you planning for next week, or when have you planned for it? When are you planning for next month, you personally?
Yeah. So I used to, back in when I was in college, Brett had suggested, hey, you should plan out your fall, or you should plan out your next campaign the next 4 or 5 months. And I would be like, Brett, I don't know what I'm doing on Tuesday, October 13th. So I'm just not going to plan anything at all. Mm-hmm. And I think what I've learned over the years is you put in your big rocks into your schedule. You need trainings. You need team meetings. You need the Olean conference. So you put that in. You need your divisional TLA meetings once a month. You got that in. And you put in all of those interviews and trainings and all of the skeleton. And I plan out the nuts and bolts of, PCs and lunch with Brooke and, a day to work out and sleep in. I plan in all those little micro nuts and bolts around the big rocks on a weekly basis.
Yeah, okay.
But you have 80% of your schedule mapped out, 4 months in advance with the big rocks.
What are the big things that you're going to do daily, no matter what? It's kind of like eat, sleep, go for a walk outside. And you're going to do those things daily, put those in there. But then the details are going to come down to that specific week when they approach. Mm-hmm. But what you're going to do on a weekly basis, at least the big rocks, because you're aware of that. I think that's a fantastic, simple, but also very, very mature approach to it, is that we know we're going to do these things every single week. So let's put them in there. That way I'm not starting from scratch every single week. I'm just fine tuning here and there. Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man.
And I use Google Calendar. I don't know if everyone does that. I'm sure everyone doesn't, but I think
Google
it's
Calendar. Is that on the internet? Is that a website that you go to, or is
it's on the World Wide Web? Yes. Yes. It's an app, and it's on Google. I think it's very helpful, and it's always with you.
I was at a message at AC last week, and I said is Instagram is the site, is the app,
You
right?
you said,
I said, what website is that? And one of the people in the audience was like, it's an app. Like she had no idea that I didn't know
oh
what
yeah.
Instagram was, and I still don't. So maybe we can work on that. Yeah, that'll be next week's questions. All right.
Yeah.
What are some things in the fall that you wish you would have known back when you first started? Man, if I wish I'd known that, I not to play that devil's advocate game, right? But hey, what are some things you wish you knew?
I think that a lot of the times during the summer, if I wasn't having the summer I wanted, I would beat myself up and I would say, we're not having the summer we want. What can we do differently? And a lot of times during the summer, if you're not having the summer you want, it's not what you're doing right then and there. That's a culmination of things that you did or didn't do in February, in October, in September. And what I've realized is, the current day in the business impacts the next month and the next campaign so much more than you think. And I break down the year into three transitions. The fall creates your TLA. Well, August creates your TLA. You interview them and you accept them. Your TLA creates your January program, and your January program creates your summer. And so, if we're going to have a good fall and a good TLA class, that's what's going to create us to have a good January program. And if we're going to have a good January program, that's what's going to create us to have a good summer. I could have told you we were going to have a great summer on January 23rd of this year because we had a kick butt J Pro. I think we did 60K week 2 of the year. We had we had an amazing team over winter break, and I could have told you we were going to have a rockin' summer on the 3rd week of January.
When could you look back and say that you were going to have a great January? So January week 2, we're going to have a great summer.
Yeah.
And then think back, what was that moment that you had? Or when was that moment in the fall that was like, we're going to do great in January? Like you just got that gut feeling. How far in advance did you have that feeling?
Halloween.
So it's funny. It's not funny. It's awesome that the trends that you have where you're saying 2 to 3 months in advance, based on where your current team is, you're going to have a great next campaign.
Yeah, it's unrealistic to go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
It's unrealistic to expect like, hey, I've kind of mailed in September, October, November. We've got no momentum. We've got nobody on our team. We have 2 TLA members, and we're going to do 100K for January program. Yeah. It's possible, but it's not likely, and it's immature to think. Yeah.
Boy, great answers. And currently you have frozen. Just like this. So 1 sec, we're going to pause and come right back. And we're back. That's good.
Okay.
I asked him 3 times when we were paused. Can you hear me? He's like, no. I pressed another button. Can you hear me? No. Press another button. So you got me good. All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Knowing months in advance how well you're doing it. If you think about that, anything like you eat a bag of potato chips when you're supposed to be eating an apple, you drink soda when you're supposed to be drinking water. It's not going to affect you that day right away, right? But that's going to catch up to you later on. And if you're nourishing your body just like you're nourishing your business, it's delaying instant gratification. And it's cool to hear that, hey, we're going to have a really great summer. But what I'm picking up from you is not like an arrogance. It's not a cockiness. It's just a confidence that, yeah, this is what we do. This is how we're doing it. I can just see it, and it's going to be great. And I think it can also work on the other side of it where things aren't going well. You're not noticing that in June for summer. You can kind of pick up on those trends a couple of months prior to that. And I think it's great for both ways, good or, not so good.
Yeah. And I tell my people all the time, I say, hey, do your future self a favor. They're like, why am I doing this right now? I'm like, you're doing your future self a favor.
It's a constant theme of right now, but it's not helping me right now, but I'm not getting it right now. And I get that, there's some things you can do right now to benefit you, but the real true testament is going to be the future self. And I think shaping your expectations a little bit more for your future self is such a healthy, challenging practice. And you're obviously locking it down. That's great, man.
And that's a big hurdle to overcome, going from being a college student to being a district manager, because a lot of college students, including myself when I was in college, are instant gratification. Right here, right now. But being a district manager, you don't get a lot of instant gratification. And it's polar opposite of instant gratification. So once you can overcome that hump of, hey, I'm not a college student anymore, I'm not having instant gratification, this is long-term focused, I'm building a business, then you can really sit back and be comfortable and say, hey,
I mean, it's no different in life in general, though. It's like going out on a date, and the first date that you're talking about marriage. Hey, I like this person. We should get married. It's just it's like running a business for a campaign, and it's like, why am I not having $1 million in the bank? Why am I not? Why don't I have a Rolex? It's like, you've worked here for 3 weeks. We have to. So the analogy is, why is my baby not walking and going to school? It's like, because you had it 3 months ago. Like it's being a baby, like you've got to go through that process. Way back, man, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I'd like to share it with you. In the analogy, and I think I heard it back from my original region manager 15 years ago, being a sales rep is like a Sea-Doo. The Sea-Doo, the jet ski. Mm-hmm. And on the turn of a dime, you can change your business. You can make 5 phone calls, 5 appointments, 4 sales. You have a $2,000 a week, and the next thing you know, you're bountiful, right? Where your district branch office is kind of like your speedboat, where you can't whip it like you do like a Sea-Doo, right? But you've got a little bit more 1 weekend versus 1 day. And then your division will be like a yacht, and then the region is going to be like a cruise ship. And then the company's like an oil rig, where sometimes it takes hours to switch it, maybe a day to switch the direction. And I think if we put that in the perspective of our offices, that, hey, you're 2 weeks away. You're one decision, but you're typically 2 weeks away from results to really getting where you want to go to. And I don't know, did you ever hear that analogy before?
No, I just wrote that down.
Yeah. So just I love analogies because it helps me to relate it not just to our business. Sometimes when people say things in the business, it's like, oh yeah, that's just Cutco Vector. And it's not, though, because you can relate it to so many different avenues. And it's cool when that happens, because you just don't feel like you're just doing this for this. You're doing it because it's applicable to every single area. And if you learn that here, you can learn it in so many other areas of your life if you apply that same process. Mm-hmm. Great points, man. It just, my synopses are firing over here as you're speaking. And it's great. This fall, what do you said something intriguing at our PRS. It was the other 12 managers with John Kane, Trent Booth, and Al Leonardo. And it was amazing down in AC. We got to play a little blackjack together and kind of hang out and have some amazing dinners. I said a few things about President's Banquet. When I'm trying to get this right, but I want to thought jog with you so you can bring it back up. But your focus, President's Banquet fall, right? But your focus wasn't President's Banquet for the fall. Does that thought jog you a little bit, what we're talking about? Like, what's your focus for this fall, where a lot of people are like, oh, P Banquet. You said something very intriguing where, President's Banquet isn't my focus. Can you on that and talk, for a few minutes on the focus of this fall?
Yeah, I mean, our focus for this fall is to sell $150,000 total, and to sell $100,000 in new. We don't have any CSPs, so I mean, we're not going to go out and do 300,000 or 400,000 this fall. But 150,000 total would be a solid fall for us. 100,000 in new, and the 100,000 in new would just be September, October, November.
So not including the August.
Not including August or December.
And right now in August you're at 63. So fall campaign, non-President's Banquet, fall campaign, you're looking for 100K.
It'll probably be like 125, 130 in new. I'm talking about September 1 to Thanksgiving.
Campaign 3, got it.
Yeah, okay. September 1 to Thanksgiving. But really, we're not really focusing on President's Banquet, and that's kind of how our philosophy is in our office with most things that are goal related. We don't really go after the goal. We go after what's our best work. And my sales manager, Brooke, she asked me a couple weeks ago, she's like, hey, Brett told us about these contests that we were really close to hitting as assistant managers this summer. I didn't know about these. And I was like, okay, sorry. Like, I'm guilty and I didn't tell you. And it's just because I'm in the habit of, we don't really talk much about the regional and national. We don't really talk about the contests because if this is what I did when I was in college. If I looked at a contest and I saw the top level of the contest, I created that as my lid. And I said, that's my capacity. If I get $100 above that, I'm crushing it. When I really wasn't crushing it. That wasn't my personal best. And so I tell my people all the time, I say, hey, you are good enough and your best is good enough. But you have to ask yourself, are you giving your best? Is this Al taught us at PRS this weekend in Jersey. He said, is this your best work? He said he asks his people that all the time. Is this your best work? And that's what we're asking our people is, we didn't ask that way, but we say, hey, are you giving your best effort? Because we know if we give our best effort this fall, we're going to crush President's Banquet. We're going to hit 2 President's Banquets. And so, it's not about the goal. It's about doing your best. And that's when you feel good and you feel happy, you feel accomplished. And you're not going to be happy by hitting a contest.
Now, last year you did achieve President's Banquet, correct?
Yes.
And then every year before this?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Last year. I don't remember.
I think it was last year.
I don't remember.
So now so you've got this philosophy. I'm not shooting for President's Banquet, but you still hit it. But what about like your national trip, your summer payoff, your fall or your J-Pro payoff? Have you ever hit any of those trips?
Yeah, I've never missed a trip, but I've never tried to hit a trip.
Say that again.
I've never missed a Cutco trip, but I've never tried to hit a Cutco trip. I've hit since 2000. I became a district manager in 2015. Since then, we've hit every summer payoff trip, every January program trip, and every national trip every year. Wow. Never missed a trip. And we've never tried to hit a trip. I think we've probably hit 90% of them at the, one of the top levels in terms of, regional trip. You have like a special dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
But
so never missed a company trip, J-Pro payoff summer or national trip, right? But your goal has never been to just hit the trip.
We're just trying to do our best.
Yeah.
And if you're doing your best, then you're going to hit the trip.
I got it. That's great, man. That's just it's a whole, the law of the lid, but it's an actual application. How many times, 10 years as a district, I said this on our very first call, I never hit President's Banquet one time. And I really honestly feel that it was like P banquet or bust. And then by mid-September, right, early October, it's like, we're not even close to being on pace for this. How many years I said that. And I just think that other managers could feel that too. Like, oh my gosh, come September, I'm nowhere close to, to heading P banquet, mail it in. And you still have 3 very important ways. And what I've picked up from this call, the 3 things you could still focus on is giving your best, learning new traits, right? Setting yourself up for an amazing new year in September, and also developing quality people along the way. So it's like mailing in because you're not going to hit a contest I can't say it's not uncommon for me. I remember doing that. The nice thing too is that you're not aiming for the contest, and because of that, you've always superseded it.
Yeah.
For some, that might be super obvious to me. That was a great, I've done it in other areas, but not necessarily this. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your culture for a few minutes. Now that you're humming, man. You're humming, breaking record after record of your own. DBC, #1 in new business, top 3 for the fall campaign, and you didn't even know it looks like, bought a house.
That's good.
Earl Kelly used to say that you're in the C zone, right? Everything you're touching is turning. I just don't think this is a fad for you. I don't think this is just something that's happening right now to you. This is something you're building at. This is something that's what you do. It's embedded in your culture. Can you talk about your culture and how a newer manager right now that may not have any of those accolades, or a second or third year manager, and they might be kind of fluttering, what to do now, going into September to start to developing culture? Again, they may not get it in September, October, or November, September, October, November, but they can start to create it for January, right? So what are some things that you do to create culture?
I think it's two tiers of culture. I think when you're a brand new manager, creating a culture is based on you and you alone. Are you on time? Are you dressed professionally? Are you clean? Are you happy? Do you smell good? Are you positive? Your people are going to be a direct reflection of you. And you're like, oh, my people aren't excited and on time. That's probably because you're not excited and on time. And that is the culture. So as a newer manager, when you don't have a big staff or a staff at all, you are the culture. You're like, how do you create a great culture? That's a direct reflection of you, your energy, your attitude, your positivity, your habits. So you got to be growing. And then once you start to build your business for a couple years, and you're 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in the business, you got a staff, you got a good AM staff. Your AMs create the culture, and having AMs that feel good, that make money, and they're happy and they're positive. We had an amazing culture this summer. We had an amazing culture last summer. We had an amazing culture summer of 2017, the past 3 summers in a row. And it's because we had really good staffs all 3 summers. It was 5 people in 2017, 7 people in 2018, 7 people in 2019 this year on staff. And they were positive, hardworking, selling Cutco, hitting the newsletter every week. So they're making money. They feel good. And that is the culture. But when you're a brand new manager, you are the culture. You create the culture.
The simplicity behind that. And I even remember this personally, but I'm visiting a lot of people and have visited a lot of people, and they just haven't broke through that first layer. And unfortunately, when they're not showing up to their office on time, they're setting the culture right there. Even if nobody's there yet on their team, by them not showing up on time, that's the culture. And it's like, how can you ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do? You can't recruit people that are better and higher at the things that you're better at, right? And it's such a great reminder. Are you on time? Is your shirt pressed? Do you have matching shoes? Are there holes in your pants? Are you happy? Did you brush your teeth? Do you smell good? Like the little things. And some might be humorous to some of our management staff, but when you're 18 to 20 as a branch, you're 20 to 25 as a new district manager, you might be able to run a recruiting class, but to develop depth in culture in your business, you got to be doing the little things that personify, a bigger picture, not just to show up and run a recruiting class, which is still important.
Yeah. And I've had people ask me, how do your people seem so passionate? And they have a lot of passion. I'm like, I don't know. It's because I have passion. I'm passionate. And why are they excited and they work hard? Because I'm excited and I work hard. Culture's not a black box. It's follow the leader.
Yeah. I remember showing up to your office. I visited you a few times. My actual first summer of visiting, drove out to Indiana and had breakfast with you and then went back again. And the one thing about your office, even just looking at your background, it is pristine. It was clean. It smells good. And the funny thing is that when you walked out, it's pretty good, You're not looking at the floor, but you're looking at what you guys see. Yeah. Perception, right? But I remember just being pristine. And the funny thing is that I always wear a shirt and a tie in the office as a district. Now national, I'll be a little bit more relaxed. But in front of a recruit, in front of an 18 to 20-year-old, I can never take that step of having them be dressed better than I was. And that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And I walk into your office, and your office is pristine. And then you walk out in the golf shirt that you're wearing today. Like, not the exact golf shirt. No. And it is. And it's something just like, well, where's your shirt? Where's your tie? Where's your outfit? And you're just like, this is what I wear every single day. And I remember seeing you 3 years ago, and I was like, man, how do you run an office but not wear that shirt and that tie, and your passion, your principles, your office, and then your attitude all align? I think if somebody's not where you are in confidence and where you want to be at in passion, I think that a uniform helps out. Being brand new and not having established culture, wouldn't be best to walk out in flip-flops and a pair of jeans and a polo shirt and not having an established office.
Yeah.
But because you're very in tune right now, you have the ability of wearing what you wear, but you have a positive attitude with results to back it up. So
I think at the end of the day, I'm being myself.
Yeah.
If I wear a tie, I have a size 19.5 neck. That's massive. If I wear a tie, it chokes me out. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not myself. And I don't think I've wore a tie in like 3 years. but that's not me.
As your first offices, did you wear a tie? Did you dress up when you
my very first branch summer I did. I wore a suit and tie to the office every day.
Okay. In your opinion, for a brand new branch who's nervous that may not have the confidence of the programs yet, or a brand new district manager, right? Is that good to wear a tie and a suit, a tie to the office on a day-to-day basis, even if it was just a
yeah, I think it's great. I think if that's you and you wear a suit and tie and you own it, that yeah, you are the business owner, you are in charge.
Yeah.
Maybe if somebody doesn't have a 10 out of 10 confidence, that definitely helps.
I think the atmosphere of your office, your decorations, your office, it's all like a part of you. So if you walk out with a shirt and a tie, they're not gonna judge and pick apart certain things. But if your office isn't in the nicest pristine order, it smells a little bit, the music is off, their lights are flickering, then you walk out with a polo shirt and jeans, it's kind of like, maybe this was true what I read, but yeah. When they walk into an office and it's different from their expectations on a higher level, dressed up, smells good, music playing, and you walk out with passion, I really feel that first impression, people are going to go, hey, maybe what I did read or maybe what I have heard isn't 100%. Let's give this a chance. So,
yeah, it's. I think the office is very clean. It looks good. We spend a lot of time on making things look good. Not daily, but like in the beginning, we did.
I get it. No, I get it.
And yeah, I mean that matters.
Well, dude, this has been great. We're at the few questions I wanted to ask you, super simple, basic stuff. In this last few minutes, there's going to be a wrap up with anything that you wanted to add, anything that you felt confident in talking about to our management staff, and you kind of want to put a bow on it. And then I've got one thing to wrap up with. So any last insight, any last tidbits that you would say, hey, when you get off this call today and you've taken down a couple of notes, here's what to do. Mindset, technique, anything that you feel confident with, with saying, how would you want to end it?
Yeah, I think the number one thing I would want to say to end it is to commit. It was the fall of 2016, and I called my division manager. I'm like, I think I'm done with this whole Cutco thing. We had my first 2 summers as a district manager. We did like 210 and then 230. So they're all right, not bad, not good. And I was like, yeah, I see myself as more than this, and I see my abilities and my impact on what I'm supposed to do as more than this, and the grass is greener on the other side. And he's like, well, why don't you mow your own grass and fertilize your own grass once in a while? And I was like, yeah, you're right, whatever.
Yeah, right, whatever.
and I left the conversation feeling, like I was just being a goose. I was being weird.
I was like, please don't say anything. Okay, this is live. All right, so you're being.
So I decided. I said I went home and I just didn't feel good about leaving. I was like, I'm gonna leave, and then I just didn't feel good about it. I don't want to leave. And I said, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna commit 100%, and I'm gonna have a positive attitude about it. And I did. And I committed 100%. And that January program, we hired Cam Fox. That January program, we hired Jade Billette. And Jade is now a district manager. She's doing well. Cam is now a district manager, 2-time branch. Now he's a district, doing very well. And that upcoming summer, we broke the territory sales record. And the 2 summers after that, broke it again. And I think a lot of times you know what you need to do. Running an interview is not hard. Do not insult yourself and say, I don't know how to talk to another human being and run it. Like, it's not hard. Running an interview is simple. Teaching somebody how to cut a tomato in front of a soccer mom is simple. The job is very simple. It's about being committed and being all in, and you commit and you go all in and watch your business explode.
We said it a few times because we drove up together. Obviously, I know you know this, but just to our few listeners here, we drove up from AC to the headquarters yesterday, and we talked a lot about knowledge and application. And maybe right now, some of our people need to commit to knowledge. They need to commit to the interview. They need to commit to running an opening comments for training, or day 1 or day 2 or whatever the case is. Commit to finding out what a PDI message really looks like. Just commit to what is a team meeting agenda, right? And the other managers already have that knowledge, but they just need to work on their commitment to the application. And we talked about that yesterday. So I think that's great. Like, hey, this fall, when you committed back in 2016, you weren't committing, right, directly to 3 years. You committed to that 3 months into JPro, which then compiled over it. So what I'm hearing you say, if I'm reading this properly, hey, to our managers out there listening, you don't have to commit to the next 3 to 5 years from this call. Commit to the next 6 to 8 to 10 weeks. Commit to the next 3 months. If you want to commit to 3 years, awesome, but just commit to those little steps because JPro is right around the corner. You still got a whole fall to develop. Commit to learning or commit to better application. The future, of course, will come.
And I don't even think I committed to a time frame. People ask me, hey, are you going to do this forever? My answer was always, I don't know.
Yeah.
My answer, if you ask me right now, hey, you're going to be here forever? I don't know.
It'd be weird if you said yes. And if you said no, it's like, how do you know, though? It's like, I'm committed to right now, though. I'm here right now.
It's like, I don't know, but I'm committed right now. I got my schedule made for the business for the next year. But I'm committed right now, and that's all that matters. I'm planning for the future, but
commit to the schedule, commit to the activities, commit to the next 3 months to go through the campaign, commit to that process, re-up in JPro. That's great, man. And of course, talk to your divisional manager, talk to a mentor, talk to somebody who is ahead of you and they can guide you along the way. But yeah, I've never, in my career, I can honestly, I've never regretted committing. I've never regretted waking up early. I've never regretted planning. I've never regretted following through. I regretted when I didn't do those things or when, I said I would, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I've never regretted when I've done it. So, dude, All right, man, here we go. Lightning round of questions. Larry Manley, just so you know, got 10 on the nose.
10 out of 10?
1 minute's worth of questions, 1 minute.
You got 10 out of 10?
Hey, don't worry about Larry. Just know that he got 10.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey. Ow, now, brown cow. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to start. Good. Okay. Who is this?
Hulk.
What is this?
Lion.
Cool. That's 2. Would you rather fly or be invisible?
Be invisible.
3. Who was the first president of our country?
George Washington.
Who invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison.
Very good. Electricity. Who was credited with electricity?
Pass.
Okay. Who's your favorite musical performer?
Chance the Rapper.
What temperature does water freeze at in Fahrenheit?
32 degrees.
How many movies feature Rocky Balboa? Just joking. What city is Rocky Balboa from?
Philadelphia.
Nailed it. What weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers?
They weigh the same.
All right.
Oh, how many did you guys get?
You got 8.
I didn't even answer any wrong. I passed one.
It was the pass.
Stop. I had the opportunity for 9.
I know. And I could have been a little bit more quick with a couple of those questions, but the Benjamin Franklin was credited with electricity. Remember,
Why was I hung up on Alexander Graham Bell? Who is that?
Telephone.
I did not get a good grade in history.
No, you crushed it. Larry still reigns free there, but hey, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your leadership. Congratulations on your personal success with your faith, with your family, with your finances, with your house. DVC, #1 in the country right now for new business. There's just so many accolades, and just knowing you through the years and now knowing you now, it's amazing to see your humility, your eagerness, your attitude, your willingness to help, and your miniature golf game is on point. I'll give you that, all right?
Oh, and I botched the first hole.
You gave me chances. Hey, I will talk with you soon, and thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Bye, buddy.